Okay. Hi there. What's that? Oh, okay. Sorry, buddy. Didn't realize. Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. My name's Corbin. If you didn't know that already. Corbin, that's egocentric. Yeah. Okay. Let's draw some pictures. I need therapy. Okay. We're waiting to see if our friend Chris can join us today, which is super cool. Chris Kilue, if you're probably familiar with her work. She's very versatile. Okay. Just checking in with her. Writing the words on the robot. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move this, and there we are. All right, so I got a couple things to chat about. I went to the Craft Hive. The Craft Hive is it's an independent art store in St. Thomas. I'm really lucky in London here that St. Thomas is half an hour outside of London. And, there are certain roads that connect the two, and they are just loaded with vehicles coming to London in the morning and going back home after. Because so many people live in St. Thomas that work in London. So, and it's really kind of, St. Thomas even has a slogan, there's 25% more life in London, or in St. Thomas, which is kind of fun. But it eventually, as the cities, over time, I think 50, 100 years from now, they may well be connected. So anyhow, so yeah, we were there on Friday to spend time with Lori's mom. And before we headed back to town, we went to grab a couple of things for her at the shops. And then Lori went and segued while we were going to the shops. And we went to the Craft Hive there at their new location, which was really exciting. And I love independent art stores far more so than big box. In London, we have Bijan's art supply store, which is fantastic. And it's long running. And, I'm really, really proud that Bijan's been keeping it going for a long time. And then in St. Thomas, they have the Craft Hive. And between the two of them, you can get all kinds of art materials and like at Bijan's, I bought, all your standard stuff, but I found Letraset, and I found a light table, a really flat screen light table, which modern technology. And hi again, welcome aboard, everybody. Hi, Linda. Hi, Tim. Hi, Salty. So the thing with these art supply stores and now with the Craft Hive in St. Thomas and their expansion to a larger space, the ladies there are really lovely. It's a mother and daughter, and they're so nice. And they have all kinds of different workshops and things that they're doing, and all kinds of different craft tutorials, and any way that I can help them. I'm a big proponent of doing so. Not that I wouldn't offer the same things to Bijan. He doesn't necessarily do a lot of those things with tutorial stuff, and I think he does some framing things, but they have a dedicated space towards workshopping, so it's kind of exciting. And they're younger, they're just starting out the last so many years, and they're working to establish themselves. And the city of St. Thomas is 40,000 people now, and it really needs its own art store, and I would prefer it to be not a big box store. So because that way you've got more real people. So anyhow, I just want to talk about them, and I'll show you some of the stuff I got. But before that, I'd like to introduce a special guest today. We've got Chris Kilue coming in and joining us. So welcome aboard. Hiya.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, really, really well. Can you hear me? Does that mean no?
I'm trying to,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm trying to be close to my modem, but I might still have problems
Okay.
with both the camera and the modem. So,
Well, if
but
things go a little bit kablooey, we can, you're always welcome back on any day. So
oh,
whenever
thank you
we're,
very much.
of course you're always welcome. And yeah. Uh, so let's chat about work and stuff. I just wanted to show a couple things though that I picked up this weekend.
Yeah, sure.
So these are ink droppers, I guess. What are these called? I knew what these were called and I forgot. It's basically a plastic reservoir that lets you draw ink out of an ink jar and deposit there, because oftentimes these stoppers get clogged up and it's a pain to unclog them. So, I got 4 of these for $1 at the Craft Hive, so that was very exciting. Woo!
Nice.
Got a proper little tiny ink tray, dedicated ink tray, because otherwise I'm transitioning ink tray to watercolor tray to acrylic palette. It's just nonsense. So I got a little $3 ink tray with a dozen things on it, and then I bought 30 feet of paper. So this is Shujigami paper, and which is a rice type paper. So just looks like paper from the camera, but it's sort of half between a tracing paper and half between a vellum paper. But I got a roll of 30 feet of it so that I can continue objectively on the path that I'm on right now with doing these large compositions that are on being drawn with a Tombow pen. And with that in mind, I got a couple of multi-craft calligraphy markers as well. So exciting times at the OK Corral. The challenge with independent stores is that now that they've switched to a new location and one of their providers, like one of their the people that they order the materials through, there's a lot of adjustment because they're unable to get certain things, and it's challenging. It's really challenging for independent stores. So if there's anyone relatively near wherever you live that's an independently owned art store, bookstore, whatever, support them, because while you might pay $1 more for like a Posca pen, and in this case their distributors having a challenge providing them Posca pens at a reasonable rate. But if you can pay maybe $1 difference for something, it's worth it to support somebody local as opposed to worry about a big box store. So we got a bunch of people joining us, and hello and welcome everybody. The other thing I'll throw up on here, I found sketchbooks that I forgot I had.
Oh, wow.
I draw too much when I'm misplacing half-finished sketchbooks. And so I've got that sorted now. And I just thought I'd show you these. This is entirely craft paper.
Nice.
This sketchbook. And so I've been doing typical whatnot in it, same as anything else. But then this is one of the sketchbooks that I use for Sunday drawings. Like you can see full one-page stories that I've done in here. Hi, Susan, welcome aboard. And
hi, Susan.
And then there's Sunday drawings that I do as well. So so this is, look at all this, look at all this paper. What in the world, Runciman? So
mine are new, so I will not complain.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, it's not a bad thing to find it. But here's another one with more of my silliness, and some of this stuff has been used for one-page stories. There's one of the few collages that I've ever done, and there's the bunny on the telephone page. So there's little bits of whatnot in here. And again, just, I'm thinking to myself as I'm ending another sketchbook, maybe I should pick up another sketchbook or so. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I've got, what's that, Chris? Sorry?
Yeah, now you have 2 more to complete.
Yeah, right?
Which is good.
So this is the finished picture that we did last week that I drew with one of these Tombow water-based markers, and I pushed the solidity of that nib to the limit. Like it started to, I had to hold it a certain way or else the line is just unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I did this, and then while I was chatting with Lori's mom Friday, I drew another one.
Okay.
So this
is the second part of the disaster, right?
Maybe not.
Sad story. Another disaster, another place.
Right? Like I've got random people flying through the air for no reason.
Okay.
And
That's creepy.
And a very happy turtle. So, yeah.
A turtle. Okay, nice.
Yeah, and so I've maybe I'll turn off the overhead if it's going to glare. So far, so good. So these are the pages as I'm coloring them now. So I started.
Was this the first time you used these pens, and that's why you found them difficult?
Well, the difficulty wasn't the pens. The difficulty was how crisp the line was.
Okay.
Because there are much nicer brush pens, like to draw with on a large composition like this. These are very inexpensive water-based pens that come in sets of 12 for like 10 or so Canadian dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not very, very fancy pens by any means. So I started putting color to the disaster drawing. And it's the same as, what usually happens when we're doing a composition is that when you start adding the color value to them, some of the things that you're trying to imply in the drawing actually start to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the depth of field, or the scales and the scaling of the people and who's in what position to the next and so forth. So this is a little bit bigger. So this is that image here. And so as I colored it, I started separating. So you can see how it just sort of muddy, washes together as a drawing with it's just the black line art. But then when we apply color, it starts to become a thing. So that's what I'll be doing a little bit of today while we're chatting. Oh, that's great. My head not blocking the light. Are you working on another pencil crayon piece? What are you working on right now? What are you working on these days?
As I moved my portable studio downstairs, I decided just to bring the essentials. So I have these Carbothello pastel pencils that I want to experiment with.
Nice.
I think they're a mix between soft and hard leads, so it's quite good. I've got chalks as well, and I started the base layer of the horse with chalks, and then now I'm trying to add a little bit of texture. But you can see the lines, and that's what I mentioned, that I'm so amazed by your system, because I do need some basic lines to guide my drawings.
Have you ever looked at Kim Jung-gi's work?
Yeah, these were printed, and I really have not tried your, how can I say, method system, but maybe I would like to try it and see if I can figure out without some basic things to draw.
Okay, maybe this will help. Can I try something? So if we think about, okay, so if let me do this with a marker so it's a clearer line. This is a marker tip and a brush tip. That might be why it doesn't hold the integrity of the brush tip so much, because they've diversified it too much. So as we draw a person, okay, and here's our person with their regular old, personage. And see, the marker's just, this one's had it. So you can see how it's graying out as I'm drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I just have cooked these things, used them to the limit. But that's okay, because we have more pens. Kelsey Breeze. All right, so this is
That's a good excuse.
good. Yeah, well, there you go. So this is our person here standing in our drawing. And so when I'm thinking about doing a drawing, and I know the basic idea of a person, right? If I want to make the person be in whatever perspective or whatever space that I'm in, I just consider the same person. So if I draw this rectangle here, but if I look at a box around our character, like so, and I see how our character fits within this space, right? And there would be a line in the foreground, so that when I'm repositioning them in another way, so now that I've got this imaginary box in my head, I can redraw the same person and to start to apply their form within the confines of this box in the same pose as I have them up here, but now I can rotate it. So if there's any questions that I have about compositionally about the person, then I rotate it like so. And so that goes as far as, the one foot is turned to the side, the other foot is facing forward. And I'm thinking of how these guys fit within this box. Now I'm looking at the box from underneath. And so that informs me a little bit about how their body sits within this space again. And so we'd see more of the hand, and then you'd see as it distances into the body, and we see foreshortening now as the body gets smaller. So so there's a guy named Kim Young-gi, and if I've misspelled it, I'm apologetic, but he in his studio would teach this. Now, unfortunately, he passed away recently.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah, just had a sudden, I think it was a heart attack at an airport and on a drawing tour. So, but his studio continues, and all of his co-artists and some students from the studio keep teaching this methodology. So whenever we're thinking about a composition, if I'm thinking about, in this case, let's say these two gals in the foreground, if I find a source photo or something and I'm like, oh, here's this person covering their face, I want to try to do something with that, but they're in the wrong position or in the wrong direction, thinking about that box method can make me fit them to be where I want them to be. And so that's some of the underlying principles that are at work while I'm drawing with ink. And then another one of those principles is just thinking about the shape or thinking about the object as I'm drawing it, and thinking about how something sits within space. So if I've got, here we go. So if I've got an open page and I'm thinking about, instead of drawing, whoops, that's not the drawing tool. Instead of drawing the form, to draw the person's face, right? What I'm thinking instead about is some of the characteristics of the face. And so after drawing eyes for a while, we start to understand you know, how a person's facial expression tells us so much about their character.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I think about those lines instead. And so rather than drawing this outline of the face first, by thinking about the characteristics of the face as I'm drawing, I know I want a person's face here, and I know I want it in this direction or this perspective. So now I'm thinking about their features and how that's where, see, this is where I've taken that understanding of the shape from drawing that shape X amount of times. And I'm just starting to instead focus on simplifying some of the marks to do a face instead that has more character to it.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps, but
The box system is very interesting, and I think I've got a book somewhere that explains that, so I need to find it and use it, of course.
yeah, well, I mean, there's people have different approaches, and there's absolutely no right or wrong way over everything else. I think it's really important for people to find the methodological approach that works for them. And if they can do that, and if that's, doing the geometric, again, I'm on the wrong tool. If that's doing the geometric forms, if it helps to understand the body as a bunch of geometric shapes, and seeing it in that way, that's great. Nothing wrong with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing as I'm always advocating for people to use those three shapes. And as soon as people start recognizing that those three shapes are everywhere and in everything, then if you can just take whatever thing you're thinking of, think of something random.
Yeah, well,
Anything. Just think of anything random.
I got a tree because
A tree?
I'm in front of my cat tree right now. So that
a
was
cat
easy.
tree. Okay, so a cat tree, I'm going to think about the cat tree that we have upstairs for our two cats. It's getting a little bit worn out. And so I start thinking about the shapes that make up said cat tree. And then I just start thinking about those combinations of shapes and how those things work together, so that when I'm sitting here and trying to utilize that information that's in my head that I can recollect, then it starts to empower me to draw their cat tree. And it gives me little, so if we can keep consciously active in thinking about those things. And then the back part has 4 posts, and those 4 posts sit on a big base. In between those 4 posts is a little cat sleeper where the cats hang out. And then these have scratchy things on them. This is where Lucy likes to sleep, right here. And this is where Corbin likes to sleep, right here. But
he's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to be up at the top. And then
Exactly.
Lucy likes to attack these hanging balls. Even while he's sleeping up here, she's play fighting all around him. So, but thinking about, this is all just the square shapes, right? There's the circular, in this case, half circle square combination, right? By doing it in perspective, I mean, one could even go so far as to say, well, it follows back to a point, which is much like a triangle. But again, it's just thinking about things and breaking them down into those 3 shapes. The difference being, after a while of drawing, I'm omitting the lines. Like if I were to, draw all the shapes first and then draw things over top, this is the same process. It's just I'm omitting the blue line part. Like I'm omitting that as I'm drawing. just because I'm thinking ahead of the next part. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for me it makes sense because I remember I saw all that method when I was at university.
Yeah.
But then you just go and kind of interiorize it or absorb it,
Yeah.
and then you just do things naturally, and then you don't think too much about it.
Yeah. No, that's a great way of assessing it. I mean, as soon as you can figure out the fundamentals of a thing, and then you regimentalize the practice of incorporating those fundamentals in what you're doing,
Hmm.
then eventually it's innate. Eventually it's, yeah, like you say, like the way that you're doing your composition right now with these, and they're chalk pastels. Is that what they are?
Yeah, I laid the base colors with chalk pastels, and
Hold on.
then
There we go.
I use them. I use them to, as the paper is 2D enough.
Did I lose you?
It's not that
Oh,
smooth. I put the pencils to the pen, and now I'm using how do you call them? Pencil crayons,
yeah,
color pencils,
yeah.
to go and try to reproduce the fur, the texture
See, that's those
of
are
it. I haven't
skills that.
used this material in years. I think 30 years. I have not had pastel pencil for a long time.
Oh wow.
So this is a kind of to
There
mix
you
them
go.
both.
Okay. I think are you were cutting out a little bit, so I went back to the way the original screens were, and it's more fluid now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it's for sure it's my internet.
Well,
So
so well, I don't. Maybe it might be the StreamYard connection and the fact that we're in, you know, opposite sides of the same continent.
yeah, that's right.
Um, the so you lay down your base, then you
Mhm.
apply, you build up the composition through the values that you're placing down and finding the tonal sections.
Yeah,
It looks
that's
like,
right.
and then you start incorporating your details as you go through there.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's
That's
a
right.
great way to do it. So you're pre-thinking in advance. It's the same thing. You're thinking in advance. You've laid down your basic template, your line art,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
right.
then that guideline establishes for you the
Mm-hmm.
proportions and perspective of the thing you're drawing. And then you start implementing the value system in that you already had to pre-think of when you were doing the compositional arrangement and the proportions and everything else. You already
Mm-hmm.
considered those things when you're doing that.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm going
it's.
to try. Well, I hope that they can see this
Well, I think
from
so. Yeah, it's half the
big,
screen.
big screen. But for example, the nose looks very, very crooked,
Oh,
not like
Susan's
a
in
real
there.
nose, right?
Hi, Susan. Thanks for stopping in. Sorry. Yeah, but
But I'm establishing the shadows and the lights with my tracing.
yeah, and as soon as you start putting those values down, then that starts to flesh out. But I think that's the trick for some people is thinking of that part of it while
Mm-hmm.
they're just putting down the composition, while they're putting down, getting in the proportions, perspective, etc. It's
That's
important
right.
that sometimes we think about that next part. To think about the color values, the base values, and then how we build on top of those.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Liz, welcome aboard. Yeah, it's really your pencil crayon work, your drawing work is just absolutely lovely.
Oh, thank you.
I know that you like the coloring part of it,
Yes.
but you're a very capable, artist that you can draw out the composition yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And Well, while I know you enjoy the coloring part aspect of things, but it's interesting because you're very capable of creating those compositions on your own.
Yeah, that's right. This is for practice. This is a coloring page.
Yep.
Streaming
But there's some
during
great
the
choices
weekend.
you've made
Some
in
people
there.
are funny.
It's very dark.
So this one is in progress, and the background is chalk
Okay.
pastels. Just grab like a Q-tip or something. I try not to use my fingers. Some people like to blend with their fingers, but
Oh, I'm very messy like that. Yeah. Oh, what
sometimes
did I?
they're particularly oily, so not a good idea. But this is something that I like.
Well, there's a
And
fluidity to that I thought it was
also,
watercolor.
oh, well, they are very, very soft pigments, so they're quite nice. And I'm also building this cat
Oh, good
fur
fun.
and texture because the books don't have, well, they have the indication of where the fur goes, but in reality, you don't have shadows or light
Well,
areas. You have
you
pen.
also are making chromatic selections of your own.
Mm-hmm. That's
Like
right.
there's no presets for what colors you're actually using, and so there's an awful lot of that is specifically you, which is wonderful.
Yes. So I think I got caught. That's why I stopped talking. But I use coloring books right now to experiment material.
Oh, great.
If a page really doesn't finish as you wanted, well, there are more pages. Maybe not the same book, but more pages to
Sure.
play with.
I like that way of thinking about it. That's very liberating. It takes away the preciousness of it. Whoops.
Yeah, because there are a lot of content creators, especially around TikTok, and they show you like the perfect setting, all the markers, all the available colors. I'm not totally sure they really color the pages. They have staff that they do that. They do
Is
that
that
for them.
right? That's sad.
And then a beginner colorist or artist, he or she goes and watches that and says, "Oh, that looks so easy." And it is not. You need to know how to tackle certain things. So it's frustrating for beginners to follow those tutorials because they're not really tutorials.
No, they're not. They're so look what I can do, and
Mhm.
that's challenging, right? Because you want to engage in a similar activity, and you've got some facility yourself to be able to do that. But when the person that you're appreciating what it is that they do, and that person does it in such a way as to not actually pass on any interesting things,
Yeah. And they
right?
are not really being taught that the material they are using is not okay for the papers those books have.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the cozy and love thing
Okay.
trend. You have seen the
The
coloring books,
what
right?
is cozy
The
and
cozy and comfortable trend. I have a book, but I have to run upstairs
oh,
to
okay.
get it.
So is that a brand or is that a sort of format people are utilizing right now?
It's a format people sing.
Okay. Okay.
Let me go upstairs quickly and show you what I mean.
Okay.
So I'll be back.
While Chris is going upstairs to do that, let's sing a song together, everybody. Or maybe not. Love for sale. No, that's not. What do we got? Let's catch up. How's everyone this morning? Says Liz. Well, Liz, how are you? Oh, Liz picked up some micro line color pens, 7 colors, 45 millimeter tips. And Salty, what do you like to use in drawing or sketching? Oh, that's a good question. Thanks for asking that, Liz. That's a great question. Here's my dilemma. Okay, I love this bozo, but he thinks he's helping me by constantly licking my thumb while I'm drawing. and he frustrates me to no end. So cut it out, Corbin. All right, now he's embarrassed because I pointed him out. The sensitive boy. Chris is back.
I'm back. These are the type of books that I mentioned.
Cozy
They are
frame.
a trend. They are a trend in TikTok right now.
Oh, is that right?
And well, the paper is just printer paper,
Sure.
but there's nothing here, just bold lines. And when you look at the back, you see the images.
Sure.
And in TikTok, they are using alcohol markers for this very cheap paper.
So they're only, well, I guess that's only one side image. Are they pulling it out of the book first?
No, they put something to avoid transferring the ink, but you can get to see. I don't know if it can be seen on camera that the paper it's very see-through.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very thin. So beginners are
Excuse me.
using like $30 or $40 marker sets for paper that is extremely cheap.
Sure,
And I
but
have just colored one page here, but I use color pencil.
it's a very lovely effect.
And I'm using just what I have, and there's no transferring except for a few. And this is water-based, the little dots that we can see here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important to always try to follow content creators that will give you tips, that will help you use the material in the best way possible, and try not to buy extremely expensive things just because they are trendy.
Oh,
Because
sure.
you can make do with what you have.
Well, being the fantastic hipster that I am for following trends, I shop at the dollar store. Or places like the Craft Hive in St. Thomas, Ontario. Um, there's, I've never understood, you know, like there's people whose work I enjoy. I enjoy this Kim Young-gi guy that I was mentioning.
Mhm.
There's another Karl Kopinski. Here's another person who does automatic drawing. It's not entirely dissimilar from, how I approach doing pages, but there's a wonderful example of mixed media application on the YouTubes under the American Society of Illustrators, where
Okay.
Bill Sienkiewicz does a tutorial in front of an assembled group where he shows them, he's got an image on a tablet of an old rusty truck. So he quickly lays out the old rusty truck on a piece of vellum, I think it is. I think it's vellum paper. And
Wow.
and then he just goes to town, and he has water spritzers like these, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he also has these full of alcohol, so that you can, or vinegar, so that you can destabilize inks using
Okay.
these. But he just starts putting big, bold washes of value. And then he's got a hair dryer at standby at all times, and he's constantly trying to draw or trying to dry the surface out so that he can keep working because of the expedience of his process.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really helpful because he shows you, oh, okay, so I've got this and I've got a Q-tip, and and so he spritz the surface and make sure he gets with the Q-tip that the moisture is really holding on to these certain areas and worked into those. And then, he'll dry that a little bit and then splash ink on that, and you watch the ink shift out and follow out to the edges of where he put that wet area. He gives him really interesting bleed techniques. And then he's got that hair dryer out, and he's trying to dry that quickly, so then he can come in, with a wash over the whole thing, and then air dryer again. And it's a really interesting way to example a process where you're talking people through the implementation of tools, and you're talking people through, exactly what combinations of things are producing the results.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that, especially for people that are working in mixed media. Linda says, I use pencils to draw most of the time, then watercolor and collage, Prismacolor to finish, and I really like micro pens.
Mm-hmm.
Liz picked up some Prisma markers at a thrift store and bought Prisma pencils one at a time. Nice. Never really paid attention to them until this year. Yeah, that's a good way to grow your supplies, like to just pick up things on the go.
Let me tell you, Liz, if with one book that you get, you have seen them all, you don't need 30 of these.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, if you're working through it to some level of speed, if you're working through it and finding that this is helping your understanding of your creative process, and it's helping you to, you discover that you enjoy this act of creation. Yeah, maybe you want to pursue more of those color books as yourself. But it's like you say, Chris, once you've got a hold of one, lean into it. Like, it really doesn't matter the subject matter either.
Yeah,
because
that's right. I mean, if you want to be an expert, then that would be a good option. Well, actually, I didn't buy the book, but if you go to Amazon, if you're interested in these books, there is one book that is at the same time coloring.
Yeah.
It's coloring and tutorial. So
Okay.
you have got like the small little boxes, then they show you how to create the textures, the effects, not only with alcohol markers, but I think that you can apply them to different techniques. So that one is worth getting if you're going to get into this trend.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said for some of the facilitation that you're going to develop by looking at this book in this context, in this in the applications that you're learning from that, right? You picked up these techniques, throw the book away and put those techniques in something else.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Like that's where you're actually learning. That's where you're really, if you can implement it out of its context. And it's also going to speak. We talked before on the stream here about style and about a sort of voice that comes through as we're creating. That's how that happens, is that when you're able to implement the things that you've picked up from one thing and take them over to another, that's where you're really planting your feet on expressing yourself creatively in a consistent kind of way. I'm a big fan of that when people start doing that. It's one thing. I've never really been a fan at all of the fan art that draws Batman and Spider-Man and goes to conventions and here's all my pictures of characters that I don't actually have the license for. And there's just this part of me that says, what are you doing? Do your own thing. You've got a voice. Sing with it. It's one thing if they do it 1 year and then the next year here they come and they've taken that and they've developed it into something of their own. It's the people that come back every year still doing it. Why? Like, why are you doing that?
Well, yeah.
It's
a very interesting question, right?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons, right? Sometimes the social aspect of things, it's a very encouraging motivator for people that, this is really funny. Salty just said, I just noticed you have 420 subscribers. Oh, wow. Okay. Neat. Oh, there you go. Watercolor is so loose, it's nice to use ink to kind of rein it in a bit. Nice. That's very true. Yeah, you have to be a little more direct about the application of ink. for sure, because there's I always find that there's more opacity. It's funny that Salty mentions about I have 420 people. That's never really been a motivator for me. Is that the numbers or hi Lucy, sorry. That's never been the motivator for doing streams. I just, if I can pass on what I do to other people, then great, you know. But there are people whose entire motivation is their numbers and I'm an influencer or whatever that word, you know, means. And I've never understood that. And I've never, you know, it's just as I can't understand, you know, if somebody just does the same kind of thing all the time, you know, shake it up, you know. There's so much more fun, you know, exploration that we can do creatively with things. Lucy has joined us. You want to say hi? No. This is Lucy. This is her little kitten. She's very pretty. She's a pretty lady. You say hi?
She doesn't want to look up.
No, she does not. And Corbin is so offended that she's here that he's stepped away. This is my space. This is a man's zone. I
have one of my cats sleeping nearby, but if I wake him up, he's going to bite me. So, I rather not.
Yeah, we don't have biters.
Yeah, but Lucy,
they're finicky characters. What's that?
So maybe I can pick up my other girl. Let's see.
Oh, there you go.
Is up here on camera. She doesn't like being on her back, but
hey, Robert, welcome aboard.
Right, we'll try.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Hello. This is I'm unimpressed with
that
face. That face says, I'm unimpressed
She's
with
not having it. She's not having it. She's like, let me go, human.
Linda's run out of yellow and everything. Markers, watercolor, and pencil crayons. Uh-oh. What am I doing here? I was making it click on and off for a second or for whatever reason. Welcome aboard, Robert. Yeah, there's a strange sort of thing about process. I find that when we're doing stuff, we habitually have certain ways that we go about doing them. And, you know, you can see that carry over and from one project to the next, and which is all, that's just what it is. But it's always exciting when, especially if you've been doing something for some time, to find something that really makes you shake up the way you approach any of the projects that you're working on. Like, I've always been a bit goofy about that. And hey, you need me to do this thing? Sure, I'm gonna try drawing it digitally.
Okay.
Not always successful results, you know, but it's been, you know, I've been very fortunate that the people are like, do you work digitally? And I'm like, not yet. I haven't had a lot of instances where people immediately just go, please just do it the way you do it. What's that?
That it's the learning that matters.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes.
It's hard to just...
Not just...
Yeah, but it's hard to apply the learning while you're doing paid work.
Oh, yeah.
You want to kind of refine that, you know, on your own time and dime, really, because, you know, it could have some very mixed results. And if the person that you're working with isn't getting what they want, they might not ask you to work on something with them again. So, which is, you know, I get it. But there's an interesting old world taking shape around us right now with, you know, all of these embedded technologies now, where I had a really interesting conversation this weekend with somebody that how liberating AI is, because it just makes everything so much easier. And I went, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, if I need something, I'll just go in AI and do it. And I went, okay, you've got a program thing you use? And he goes, yeah. I went, okay. He goes, do you use it? And I go, no, not at all. I draw the thing, or paint the thing, or build the thing, in whatever way I need to. I don't utilize that program, but again, that's kind of what I do. So in my case, it's I might find some challenge and stuff, but I'll figure it out eventually.
Mm-hmm. And the
And
satisfaction that you did it, and it was not just because of a very skilled writing of a prompt, which is also necessary, but
oh,
still.
sure. But he said, well, I needed this thing. I only had a couple of weeks. I had to have this thing ready. And I went, so did you see if you knew anybody that could have tried to have done that in a couple of weeks? And he said, no, I just do it in AI. And I went, no, I appreciate that. But that things come from these programs from milling what other people are actually doing out there. Mm-hmm. And, you just going with the flow on that program isn't really necessarily helping out, any of those people that, maybe their livelihood is dependent on it. And he goes, oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I just need it quick. I went, yeah, but there are people that work quick. Exactly. Just something to think about. And he goes, yeah, no. And I said, well, okay, but in this context, I said to him, you're probably the person that wouldn't have hired an artist to do it anyway. So I get it. I would hire an artist. I went, no, you wouldn't, because you would have done that. You would have considered finding somebody that would have been able to do it in time. You just keep, you're advocating the whole immediacy, the immediate need fulfilled. I get it. That's fine, but there's a great deal of people that, could probably engage in things with you, and it's maybe a little less artificial and maybe a little more authentic.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
No, it doesn't matter if I'm using AI and I'm like, yeah, or the next 5,000 people. If everybody just uses AI, it's fine. Go ahead, why not? It's just being flippant about it.
I'm still very, very against AI if somebody can do it. In December, I decided to gift some of my coworkers some bookmarks. And this was one of them.
Oh, very nice.
So I took my reference. Yeah, I think in one of the Hangouts with Paul, I showed you the unfinished version.
Well, it looks really good.
So this is, let me see if I remember. This is Derwent Inktense, pastels, and Prismacolor.
Nice.
And I think the black lines are ink.
Okay.
So, and I have not done that for a long time.
No?
Most of last year, I spent my free time just coloring pages. And I stopped drawing.
Well, did you do a whole bunch of needlework though, didn't you?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of needle felting. And of course, because I went from part-time to almost full-time at the job, it just escalated everything. So I have a lot of students. I have administrative work to do right now, and that's just a lot of work. So I think my brain decided that it was just enough to do coloring pages, and that's what I did. But since I started this in December, I said, I have to continue drawing and doing those things because it's important.
Yeah. There's definitely value to it. I mean, I think a challenge we have is that oftentimes people will think my work, in the context of my work and my this and my that, or that there's going to be some great statement or contribution through whatever things that we do to the history of art, and maybe they just want to remember to keep drawing and remember to keep doing what they're doing. And if they're going to do it from a project-based employment type thing with clients, you have to keep those skills up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I got sent a thing about a job on the Instagrams, and I had zero interest in it. So we'd like to get you to do this thing, and I have this approach that I take now, where I look at what that person has been doing. Like I look at what this company might be up to, and on one of their social outlets, one of the social media platforms, it's not five posts back where they talked about publishing through AI, how to publish your own book through AI, and it's like, I'm out. That's all I needed. Is I don't even want to look any further into that. If it's just what do they call that? Clickbaiting? Is that?
Yeah, I think that's the name.
Even if it's just that, even if it's just them trying to draw attention to their thing by being, cheeky or salacious there, I don't care. That's enough for me. Bye. And I don't want to work.
I totally agree with Liz what she says, that if something states that it's okay.
I'm sorry. Try it again.
That I agree with Liz. She says that if something states that it's made with artificial intelligence, so it's fine.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm trying to figure out where she said that. Or is that, did I miss that?
It's the last comment that I can see on the screen.
Add AI, add a background, right photo system, background. Is that nice? Oh, well, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, but how do we, that's a sort of a challenging thing, because I mean, it's one thing, you're doing it in this context and you're stating that, but there are going to be people and companies that like terribly abuse that, and I was watching a video essay where somebody was trying to figure out a method of how do we deal with, they call it the AI slop, where you're able to differentiate what's an actual video or film that's unmanipulated by AI programs. And, how do you do you put a stamp on it, or you have to declare whether or not artificial intelligence was used in the creation of something, and I thought it was really interesting. And I'm like, whatever you come up with is going to be, figured out how to work around in no time flat. I mean, just whatever, here's the guidelines. Well, the guidelines won't matter in the blink of an eye. So people are still going to abuse those things. It's kind of unfortunate, it's kind of sad that people are like that, but people have always been like that and probably always will.
Yeah. It's getting more difficult to distinguish, I should say, if something is real news, fake news. It's just really, really difficult.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
Yeah, I think I haven't watched.
I gave up.
So in 2020, I decided not to watch the news. Everything was freaky, scary.
Yeah, I gave up. It was burned out of me. Because what do you believe anyways? You turn on this show and it says this. You turn on that show, it says that. And yeah, the reported ethical reporting, I don't know anymore. Like, it's all perspective based. We live in a society that's all individual perspective based. unfortunately, and myself included. I mean, that's how we are as
Mm-hmm.
as organisms, and it's anybody that tries to say that's how you shouldn't be, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. We probably shouldn't, but good luck.
Yeah.
The first there's a conversation about the things we need to the way that we need to do is to be more cohesive to the whole, and think about that in all our actions and reactions. And I'm like, that sounds absolutely noble and fine and fantastic, but everybody immediately, the first way that everybody responds to whatever immediate situation is always from their own self-interest first and foremost, immediately, always. And it might not be malicious or ill intention for others, or it might not be something that completely overwhelms them and they can't think more logically to to how this affects others, but
Mm-hmm.
within a second or so. But that first second, it's always about, will this kill me?
Yeah. Or
Is
what
this
am I
good for
going
me?
to get from this?
Yeah, that's it's one of those things about the world today, is that there's less and less about the accumulative factor of you know this is so much easier to plug something into a machine instead of having a legitimate conversation with a human being. And
Oh, that's
maybe
so scary.
what's that?
That's so scary that people are doing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and just that there's just such a really awful thing that's been done to a couple of my sons are in their mid and lower 20s, and their society has just been given a kicking. Like their generation in society has just been given a kicking,
Yeah.
and it's really challenging for them to be figuring out some things that when the forms are all broken, but they're not replaced by new form.
Mm-hmm.
it's, it's hard to understand things. And so these kids in this reevaluation of how society is working, it's not actually being replaced with something that's structured for to be the benefit to society. It's things are being replaced with the opposites of what it was. And so now we've taken it from being bad towards column A and we've made it bad towards column B. And I'm like, what are we doing? Somebody's not thinking here.
Yeah. Yeah. My students are around 18 to probably 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's scary to see that. It takes them really, really, really a long time to make a decision, or
Oh
they
boy.
really don't know what to do. And that's scary.
Oh yeah. It makes you worry, right? Like, what happens when push comes to shove and you've got to deal with something now? Like, you don't have time to take it to a committee, or you don't have time to weigh in all these factors of, well, I would, but how is that going to affect the dolphins?
Oh, yeah.
Focus on the moment here. It's tricky little world we live in.
Yeah, there was recently a very big scandal. There was this medicine student, second semester or third semester,
Yeah.
not at my university, but another state university.
Yeah.
And she got 6 chances to pass a subject. She's studying medicine.
Okay.
And the subject that she had the 6 chances and she failed
Oh boy.
was anatomy.
Well, that's kind of integral.
It's the core of a doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, she paid someone like $30,000
Wow.
to have the exam, and she finally passed.
And she was caught.
Yeah, she was expelled from the university
Well, that's
because
great.
she recorded a TikTok confessing. Can you imagine that? Well, anyway, but I'm glad she confessed, because imagine in 10 years going to that uh, going to that lady in 10 years and have an operation, she's not
I've
going
got
to
a
know
problem with my
where the
knee, doctor. And they grab your elbow.
exactly, or worse, your lung. It's unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. That's just, sad. It's sad. But I mean, the pressure that some people may feel under will cause them to do stupid things. Because, again, in that immediate moment, the whole world is collapsing if I don't become this.
Hmm.
If I don't succeed as the medical student, to become the medical doctor, as all these people around me might be invested in me doing. So I'm going to pay for somebody to do this thing. And it's like, yeah, but. And then they tell people about it, which is the dumbest part of the whole thing, really.
Exactly.
It's one thing
That's,
the compromised ethics in the first place, but then you announce it.
yeah. And she did it while she was doing a makeup with me video on TikTok.
It's even better.
And her makeup finished being really pretty. So I saw bits of the video and I was like, you know what, girl? You can do a better living as a makeup artist, not a surgeon.
Other people will do a better living when she's a makeup artist and not their
Yeah,
surgeon.
exactly.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's a challenge, right? Like nepotism is one of those things where, you know, I'm trying to think of what it was. There's this one program that I had watched, or maybe it was a film, and one of the guys was, oh, I know what it was. It's Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Where they play these two adult males whose parents are in a relationship, and so they get married while their sons are in their mid late 30s and 40s, early 40s,
Hmm.
and their children, they're absolute childish ding dongs. But John C. Reilly's character, his father is a physician, a surgeon no less, and so he tells people that my family's in medicine, and oh wow, what's your practice? And he goes, lately I've been practicing the drums type thing.
Okay.
Because he's not in medicine, his dad is, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not doing that. So there's certain things that thankfully nepotism doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
That would be one of them.
Yeah, especially in medicine. You need a real doctor.
Yeah, that's the guy you don't want working on you.
Yeah.
That's
Or the
that's
doctor you don't want to visit.
yeah. You got a problem with your what's this called? My hand? Yeah, your hand.
Yeah. Imagine a doctor asking ChatGPT for a diagnosis.
I'm absolutely sure that there are physicians that are utilizing ChatGPT in one way or another in their practices. I'm absolutely positive of it. You know, hopefully not diagnostically,
That's
but
scary.
we do live in a world where something's going wrong. You can call an online physician, or you can, like you can connect to an online physician and give this based on this criteria of how you're, explaining your dilemma. They'll say you should go to the doctors because it's starting to sound like this, and just the idea of that's terrifying. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. It sounds like you've got this life threatening thing. You should go in there, and it turns out no, that's gas. They have gas. Like they got to stop eating these gassy foods. That's all. But in the
Yeah.
interim, this person has gone through this whole emotional turmoil over a weekend, and none of this was necessary.
It sounds like we are living in one of those science fiction movies.
Oh, sure. What are you drawing right now, Linda or Salty? I'm trying personal items as in brush, curling iron, perfume, etc. in 9 groupings. Oh, that's great. Is that for? I like that. That is sort of a still life or a like a bunch of mixed items in a space, and then trying to do illustrations of that. That's fantastic. That's a great approach. Absolute great approach, Liz.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun idea. I think that today in the morning I was watching Didi while
Yeah.
I was having breakfast, and let me see if I can. I cannot go back to my photos. No, that's my horse.
So, were you working on something of your own as you were watching?
I was having breakfast, but then I think I screenshot. I don't know where I put it. No, I don't know. I think I erased it.
You want to just describe it for us?
Yeah, she was giving some prompts to people,
Oh, I see.
and they were quite fun. And I think my screenshot didn't work, so I have to go back. But some of the prompts were like a cowboy, cucumber, turtle, and wings.
Yeah.
And don't ask me why. I hope it was not food poisoning. But I imagine a cowboy cucumber and a turtle with wings while I was having breakfast.
Oh,
And I think I'm going to draw that sometime this week.
why not? That sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, this thing that I've shown this a numerous times. You've seen it, of course, Chris. But the art dice that my daughter Nicole got for me at Christmas. There's a dice for medium, a dice for style, a dice for setting, a dice for color, a dice for texture, a dice for mood, and then there's 3 subject dice. So there's no such thing as I have no ideas. Roll some dice.
Mhm.
You know, that's, or you can, I'll show you something I've got over here in the studio. Just give me a second. Head across the room. There are all kinds of opportunities like this. This is just drawing prompts. And in this context, it's actions. So jumping, falling, sitting, talking, walking, eating, drinking, thinking, singing, crying. That's just the first 10. There's 100 here. Dropping something, picking something up, fixing something, just keeps going. So this is Arteza has put out a challenge. My perfect place to live, the Easter Bunny, a wave, a childhood memory, safest place on earth. This is another one that's lots of fun things in it. Here's draw a bunch of mushrooms, draw fruit with your non-dominant hand, draw a baby elephant, draw your pet or the pet you want, draw a curious rabbit. Here's prompt word, courage. Day 2, doorways. Day 3, start with collage papers. Day 4, butterflies. There's so many of these things that are out there available to people.
Mm-hmm.
That we live in an age where there really shouldn't be a shortage of ideas. The challenge, I think, more so than that, is our ability to be receptive to the different ideas.
Yeah.
To receptive to taking on that challenge. And I think that's far harder to do. Like, say you got to do a picture of somebody jumping. Well, how do I do a picture of somebody jumping?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that makes the artist then have to use their toolbox, use their developed ability to start to figure out how to draw somebody jumping.
Exactly. I found the prompts. So they are flying, bubbles, cowboy, turtle, and cucumber.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm going to keep them safe.
Yeah, there you go. That's a fun list of things. I like simple suggestions, but I also like at the same time, when somebody has, this is the end of a galactic age as a new civilization is discovered. Like, okay, well, let's figure that out.
It's technical.
Right?
Have you ever found an idea or a prompt that in the moment you are like, oh, how am I really going to draw this?
I don't allow myself to spend too much time in the moment.
Okay.
I sort of push myself immediately to just get to it. So if the thing is like it's an undersea kingdom of fish people, I'm just going to start drawing a fish person. You just got to find one piece of it and go. Like suggestion I had the one time was unicorn, fence, and a mermaid. So I've got this unicorn, looking over a fence, right? Just there's two parts of it already. That's pretty straightforward. But then because I'm now into the momentum of doing the thing, somebody says, do a reverse mermaid. So I did. So it's a reverse mermaid sunbathing on the beach. So that means human legs and the rest is fish. Right?
She needed to tan her legs.
So she's tanning her legs, and a unicorn looks over the fence and goes, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And she's like, "That is so rude. Excuse me. Who do you think you are? Like, I'm doing something private here. Get lost. It's just dumb." But just starting to draw the horse, and then of course unicorn, enables me to get the process started. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the most interesting challenges was Jim Luan said one panel, one action, one word. Tell a story with one image, right? Like one one panel, one action in it, and one word in the thing. And I did a page called Run, and I had a crowd dispersing. And so I think I'll try to find it here. I got copies of some books nearby. But here it is. This is Run. One panel, one image, one word. Right? Great. So having these people scattering as a crowd in multiple directions. And I drew it with a gray pen and a pencil. Or a gray marker and a pencil. And so then just playing with the colors and stuff like that's just me having fun. But by putting Run behind this, and these people are pushing out of the panel, like they're just scattering every direction. And with the word Run, what do you think the story is here? But
they're escaping.
Sure, but whatever you come up with, somebody who might watch this video or be in the chat would have a different idea of the story. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to escape something. They're all trying to rush to someone, like figure out, they're all looking for somebody that's missing. You know what I mean? Like it's the story in this case is entirely incumbent upon the reader to come up with, which readers partially do anyways. Right?
You have a challenge there.
Let me see. I'm going to catch up here. I'm actually making quilt squares this week for an exchange. Oh, very cool. Adding applique trains to the squares. Nice. And applique. Wow, you must be the best to exchange with. Oh, nice. Liz says, Christopher, here's your challenge. Make bathroom art. Do you know, somebody came up to me once. I'm writing it down, Liz. Make bathroom art. And I'm writing it down with a marker that's run out of. Make bathroom art. So somebody came out to me once and said, do you remember that painting that I bought off you X amount of years ago? And I said, yep. And they said, it's hanging in my bathroom. And I went, neat. Like there's no emotional response from me about it. I went, neat. And they go, which is like my catch-all for no emotional response generally. But that's not bad, is it? You're not offended it's in the bathroom. And I'm like, no, it's nice you hung it up. And they go, well, I put it in there because I figure most people would see it.
Okay, that's well.
What does that mean?
He's got a point.
Yeah, sure, on one level, but on another level, how bad's your cooking that everybody comes to your house has to run to the bathroom? What is going
But if you
on?
put it close to the kitchen, you have these kind of fumes and everything, oil, so eventually could get a little bit affected if they are not properly framed.
Sure. I mean, if it's an oil painting and you've got it in a closet and the only way to watch it is to sit in a closet and stare at it, well, you're going to really enjoy that painting. Especially if it's still actively drying. I always wonder which room the art would work in a home. Now, that's cool. The word almost looks like window frames. Oh, fun. That's fun. Never thought about that about Ron. That's neat. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, it's a subjective thing about where.
You probably know this.
What's that?
You probably know this and you know the story.
Girl with a pearl earring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This type of art was supposed to be for private cabins, like toilets or closets.
Because it's so small?
Because in those times, the face of the girl was kind of provoking on inviting a man.
Oh my goodness.
So this is something that could have been hung up in a toilet, in a private closet or something. And now it's famous. I don't know where I read the story or saw the video.
If you're looking at his work, there's another thing that he did. I think it's The Milkmaid, I think it's called, where the painting's actually about foot fetishes.
Right.
It's just so, there's this weird little symbological things that are in an image that people put in there, right? Like somebody might look at this page and go, why is there a turtle in this page? And literally, as I'm drawing and I just want to draw this turtle, I imagine the turtle says, hey!
Well, turtles need to be rescued.
Well, sure, but so Lori looked at this and I go, what do you think of the turtle? And she goes, which one? Like immediately she caught that up here, floating in the sky with all these other people, is a turtle. There's a second turtle in the picture that I haven't colored yet. It's just black green. And I'm like, well, maybe that's him. He's like, hey. So if the question is, why is it that some people feel they're grounded in life and, doing whatever it is that they need to do, and other people just seem to be floating along in the air? And then the turtle can answer that question for us. Because it's faster and easier, I don't know.
From incidental character to main character with a reflection.
Postscript.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This she knows your tricks. Yeah. No, Lori knows that there's always something cheeky that I'm doing in a drawing. Here is something else in this composition. Everything, and I'll make it larger. Okay, so in this composition, everything that's here, while there is round shapes to people and so on and so forth, but a lot of the environmental stuff is angular. There's triangles and squares, and there's some rounded edges on things, sure, but for the most part, right? Whole drawing. And then all the way over at this side, right here, where the mouse is circling around it, or maybe I'll just highlight the whole, right here where the marching ants are around it,
okay.
is a ball. just for whatever reason, I drew a rubber ball there. So it will reveal itself more. Whoops. When, what have I done this time? Here we go. Oh, I see what I've done. I got the opacity so low I can't even see the color I'm putting down. So here you can see it now. So when the whole composition is colored, you'll see it more clearly.
Uh-huh.
The whole drawing, and for whatever reason, I realized I don't have anything round in here. So I just drew this little rubber ball.
Okay.
Just
I was
dumb.
saying when the disaster hit.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about whenever there is a big accident, big disaster, whatnot, the incidental is that all of these things in people's houses burst out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Building collapses and things shoot out the sides of said building. So you'll have, these awful scenarios and this bright red ball just sitting in the middle of the street. And where did that ball come from? Right? And it probably shot out of a kid's room in the building. It's just whatever. It's just interesting. Just something interesting. But yeah, so you can see as I'm going through and coloring from the bottom up all the base colors. What I do is I color pick the base color and I adjust that, and then I color, dark and light based on the base color. And then I'll come in at times and I'll take opposite colors and throw those in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's all kinds of oranges and the red of the mouth and red around the eyes on the turtle. But
you mentioned that sometimes you create thumbnails or small sketches. If for this one, the one of the disaster, or this one that you're drawing,
yeah,
you have like a small thumbnail, or it just came out as you were drawing?
I just drew it. I'll show you something. So I do things like this. When I'm drawing in the stream,
Mm-hmm.
the most I allow myself to refer to is something like this.
Oh, okay.
So whatever influence I'm getting from, the thumbnails that I have nearby that I'm sourcing as my, I'm gonna, like how you're using the dog image in the photograph.
Mm-hmm.
I use these. And the only reason that I do that, and it's neither better nor worse, in fact, there's more information to be gleaned from using a larger image. But the whole reason that I do this is that I'm really forcing myself to have to think about what I'm drawing. Like I have to understand as I'm putting this shadow here in the center area of this composition,
Mm-hmm.
where this lady's arm is, how this space works to define her arm and at the same time be able to define the trunk of her body so that it is identifiable as a form. Liz says, can you make the color you're adding on the computer to have an oil brush stroke look? Yeah, there's all kinds of functions and keys and things like that. Like the brush that I'm using is, I'll find the name of it. So this is a round, blunt, medium stiff brush that I'm using. And if you make it larger, right, it is like you can see how, I'll take the back colors out. It is like a brush because it has this scattered end to it, the scattered edge to it. It's not like a just solid line. Like in the way that you apply it, gets you all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer that than just using the round circle or something. And there's a whole wealth of brushes to choose from that I've got at the side here. But I also like doing things like this. In the background here, I'll make it a little bit bigger so it's blatantly obvious. I put a layer of dots into things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no reason for the entire background to have these dots on them. And half of them are blue and half of them are brown. And, you know, the reason that I did that was so that it just adds something interesting in the background. And because these are solid colors or brushed colors, having this base value for the background, have these dots built into it, also just goes further to help separate foreground and background.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the printing type of offset machines that they had, like with the dots.
Oh yeah.
In the old comics.
Yeah. I really like that. And I do this, I'll show you a recent thing. I do this all the time, is where now that, you know, since I've come back, I really play with textures. Here's another one. So these two images, this one here is, I'll make it much larger. So there's day glow dots galore in here. Like you can see them up in this area easier.
Yeah.
But then there's also brush sweeps as well. But the thinking behind this is to really try to emulate rain on some level. And the viewer's brain kind of fills in that this may well mean what this is water moving up and water moving, you know, down. Whereas in this thing, there's the day glow dots in the background. And as it moves over, they become larger and denser.
Yes.
You know, which I think helps to draw the eye across the page. So you can see as it's more space to the left, and it's more whatever this crazy curvy dot type thing is over here. The splash of energy or whatever this is in the background, the yellow, has actual stars. You know, like it's a brush that's stars. So it, as you go sweep over it with the brush, it makes little stars. You know, it's just trying different things and having fun, you know.
Can you create brushes in Photoshop? I think you can, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's people that are selling their unique brushes all the time. You know, they say, you want to use the brushes I use, you can find them here at, I think, Gumroad or something like that. It's a road where people chew gum. I don't know. But effects are interesting. You can get so many different effects in so many different ways. But I do like, you know, like this is the one that was digital painting over a charcoal drawing. Right? So I've taken some of the line work that was put in with the charcoal and accentuated on that with the color. You know, and some of the places where it's not so clearly defined, like over here on this side, the color makes a more clear definition between the foreground and background. Like it's just another tool. It's nothing but another tool to apply. So, but I don't even come up with a story while you know, right off the hop. So, still watching the YouTube on Painting Mastery. They talk about habits in art making, such as don't wait for inspiration to do art. Just do it every day if you want to improve. That's very true. Very true. Or every day is a stringent thing. I would argue, do it whenever you get a moment. Whenever you can get a moment to do it, just do it. And those moments can be applied. Like, say a person rides a train to and from work each day. They got to ride a train from the town they live in into the city center. That train ride's an ideal moment to sit down and allow yourself to sketch or whatever. You know, or Chris, you can attest to this, or you can draw pictures in the margins of your students' assignments that they've handed in. Or maybe not. I said you can draw pictures in the margins of your students' assignments that they hand in.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Maybe not.
But what I'm using right now is, unfortunately, some of them cheat and they use ChatGPT to generate their writings.
No.
So what I'm doing, showing the name, what I'm showing the name is that I use stamp, cat stamp.
Okay.
And sometimes, let me see if I can find one here. No, I don't have, oh, yes. If I forget my stamp, I quickly draw a cat.
Oh, nice. Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So
yeah, that's
what I
great.
do.
And is that the stamp of authenticity? Is that the stamp that says this wasn't a ChatGPT thing?
Yeah, because sometimes they have two papers, and they put the one that they created like under the task, and then they are just pretending they are writing, but that they hand in the artificial one. So as I only stamped one paper.
That's because that second one, yeah. Thanks, Liz. That's very nice of you to say. Yeah, it's challenging. My problem with writing assignments was it's either hyper focused on the thing or it's tangential. Like it's so, I'll start explaining Grigory, Grigory found himself a new and passionate love affair that he never expected, which is easy to understand since he's a platypus. So I start this. Oh, this is a story about a romance. No, it's about a platypus. I would do things like that all the time. So I've always been wired a little off.
But platypuses can be in love.
Well, sure they can. That's the whole point, And and even though Gregory was in love with a hummingbird, they thought they could make it work. It's because people will often say, where does your mind go? Where somebody suggests one thing and then you go completely to the left. Like that's the challenge, right? Like you still meet an obligation that somebody suggested something like, here's this page. A bubble of time that picked him up and brought him here sits in ruin all around him. He has yet to understand where, or rather when, he is. It's him. Don't be alarmed. We brought you here to help. Don't scare him. You are our inspiration. And I end with, he's very confused. Like it's like the opening part of a conversation that I take nowhere. Apparently he was in a time machine. He crashed here, and these people are like, hey, here you are. And he has no idea what's going on. And I just leave the reader there. Like I love doing things like that. Like I love exploring an idea. So that's something that's like hyper focused on this singular notion. But the suggestion was a crashed time bubble, or a crashed bubble of that travels through time. So. Or you like this one, Chris? In order to encourage change, people feel the need to rebel. They rise up and take to the streets. They want to be heard. Looting, though, that's stupid.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that one.
So whatever this
reflecting what's happening.
This grand statement on rebellion, and I'm like, yeah, but looting's stupid. One doesn't justify the other. I like things like this too. This is the other thing I like to do. I don't know why I drew this ghosty guy in the background, but this is the one that it's a ghost, right?
Yeah.
And the guy says in the background, smoking a cigar, says, go on with yourself. They ain't real. That's the whole story you're getting there, folks.
until you have seen a ghost or had a paranormal experience, you won't be able to say that.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, there you are. And but in this context, here's this guy, it's a ghost, and this guy's perspective is completely different on it, but I get to draw this guy being really surprised, but at
Yeah.
the same time I get to draw this old fella going, go on. I just enjoy doing things like that. I don't think I've posted this one. I'm not sure if I have or not. I can never remember anymore.
I
But
don't remember it, and I never try to like all your posts to see
that's
if
very
the
nice.
algorithm helps you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It says, check out my new machine. And she goes, yeah. So what do you think? Right? What does it do? I don't know yet, but I made this. It's so stupid. But that's what people do to their, you're like, as a creative person, how many of us haven't created something, and then we show somebody who's nearby us, what do you think of this? And they look at it and go, yeah, that's do you
Yes,
want to talk
totally.
about whatever's going on with you? Like, they just look at it and go, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, and then they ask you, "Oh, what is this for?" Well,
I made it.
we don't know, but
The well is no deeper than that. I'm not sure
it's
if I'd
cool to
say that.
invent things.
What's that?
It's cool to invent things, but then you realize somebody has invented them before, and you're like, well, okay, I had fun.
Well, I mean, come on. Like, there's this really exciting thing about computers. Computers are this brand new idea, and no, they're not. Clocks were invented at this period. No, they weren't. Um, there's so many discoveries that are made, in Greece and Rome, that they had, clocks in 300 BC or 300 AD. I can't remember which it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, towns had a central clock in the middle of the town. It was run off of a water pump system for the movement of time, the progression of an hour during the day, and we just figured that out. Or robotic machines, or weighted machines, or of course the most popular thing, the Antikythera mechanism, which is a computing calculator for constellation alignment. So where were the planets and the sun in the sky at this date and time, and then you could turn the dials and stuff, and they'll all shift and adjust in this circular dais in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And that was discovered in a boat wreck. And again, that goes back to, I can't remember if it's 300 BC or 300 AD. That's a computer, A lot of people forget that the first contemporary computer was all dials and weights and gears that they used to break the Enigma machine.
Mm-hmm. Like,
But
I remember,
Turing. That's what. Sorry.
I remember I saw in your alphabet book your entry about the maps, and you mentioned something about these brave men or women, mostly men, I guess, who were really sailing and navigating those seas and trying to map the coasts. And then you said something. It's not the literal words, but you say something about those maps cannot be found anymore. And that's
Oh, yeah. I found it. Maps.
yeah.
Mankind has sailed upon the high seas since before recorded history. I imagine that there were some adventurers into the unknown that attempted to map the entire globe, maps that are now lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's a map that was discovered. It's called the Piri Reis map. There's a map discovered in Spain that has the outline of Antarctica in the map.
Wow.
And part of South America. This is historically before Spain went to North America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do they have a bit of the contour of South America and a bit of the contour of Antarctica without the glaciers on top on a map.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's all kinds of things that we've got no idea. I heard on a YouTube this guy turned the phrase, "That pickle needs his jar broken." Is that a suggestion, Liz? I'm writing it down.
It's going to make a good story then.
That pickle needs his jar broken. I've got a saying that I always use that Lori looks at me like I've got 3 brains. None of them are working right. Because I go, that guy's cheese is slid off his biscuit. Because, people put a slice of cheese on crackers, right? And they like to eat cheese that way. That guy's so off that his cheese is slid off his biscuit.
Okay.
Or there's one I heard, what is it? There was a really funny one I heard a guy say recently, something about that guy's staircase doesn't go all the way to the top. The guy's staircase doesn't go all the way up to a second floor thing. Something like that. And I was just giggling because I'm like, that's so what a way to illustrate that somebody's not thinking completely here. They're not thinking about the whole situation. They're only making it halfway up their staircase.
Yeah, and each culture has got their phrases, and they're very interesting to explore.
There's a song called Tommy the Cat by a band called Primus. And there's a woman that came flying down an alleyway in the song. She came flying down the alleyway like butter drizzled over a hot biscuit.
Okay.
Like, what does that mean? Because when you think about it, a hot biscuit, you put butter on it and it slips over the sides, right? So that woman just went right down that alley.
Yeah.
But you got to think about something like that for a quick second. Like, you're like, wait a minute, what?
There's a page on Instagram, but I don't have access to Instagram right now.
Oh, okay.
That explains Spanish, Mexican idioms.
Okay.
We do speak Spanish in all, like Central America, Mexico, and except for Brazil and Spain.
Yeah.
But all the idioms and the phrases are totally different. And you can hear a lot of people coming here to Mexico, and they have studied the Spanish courses, YouTube, whatever. And they come to Mexico and they're like, I have no idea what people are saying on the streets. Because we speak in Mexico with idioms all the time. We hardly ever use like correct structured Spanish.
Well, what kind of thing is an idiom? Are you able to translate one?
Let me think about one that it could be common, or let me see if I can quickly access my hidden account on Instagram.
Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, I have another Instagram personality there, but I only post food there, so it's not interesting. But
it's called Chris K's Food Channel. It's real secret. It's really secret.
It's a real secret because it's not even my name. So I'm using a different person's name. So let me see if I can find
Well, don't hold it under the camera.
Well, don't worry. The name is like shortened up. Mexican Indian Guide. Oh no, this is not the one. So let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find it. and I'm trying to think of expressions. Oh my God. Let me see.
Well, we have one here, like somebody's not playing with a full deck. Right?
Okay.
Like that would be an idiom here. That guy over there is not playing with a full deck. It alludes to, he doesn't have all 52 cards in order to play whatever game he's actually actively involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But so-and-so's not playing with a full deck makes you have to understand the cultural application of playing with a deck of cards.
Yeah, you have to be into the culture, but it's really fun because then people who are living in certain areas in Mexico, they have to take a crash course of Mexican idioms.
Well, I guess so. I mean, if they're going to converse openly on the street.
Yeah, let me see. I think I sent a message to this page. Yeah. The account, it's called How to Spanish.
How to Spanish.
How to Spanish. Let me go to the profile. Okay. And let me see if I can find something fun. Oh, it's her commercial. But I saw one that was really, okay, I found some. So this is called How to Spanish, Mexican Idioms You'll Never Guess Literally.
Okay.
And the first one, no te hagas. Don't make yourself. The meaning is stop pretending that you don't know exactly what I'm talking about.
You never get that. How would a never get that?
But we use it all the time. Yeah, in the
Sure,
street.
but somebody that understands the expression would go, oh yeah, okay, I get that. But if you're going to illustrate that, right?
You can
Don't pretend. Sorry.
Yeah, you can say, don't make yourself. You can take it in so many directions. I want to explore those now.
Well, but you could illustrate that by having somebody who's blatantly lying, like in some sort of physical pose where they're blatantly lying, and the other person's fully aware of it, and you just write 3 words on top of it. And those that know will know. That's harder to sell internationally because other people have no idea. But
this one's good. You were saying about a person who was not really very intelligent or not really doing a lot of critical thinking. This one is cool. No le llega el agua al tinaco. The water doesn't reach the rooftop tank. And it means that he or she, oh my God, this is so fun. He or she is not exactly the brightest person.
I love it. That's fantastic. It's strange, though, when we think about it, like even culturally, there's age, like there's a generational thing that happens. Like when people say, I was talking recently with a group, and we were talking about what's your rule of life?
Mm-hmm.
And I told people that my rule of life is you got to get up to get down. Well, and they're like, what? I'm like, you got to get up to get down. Where did you come up with that? And I go, my godfather taught me. And a couple of people that are my age or older that were in the room went, oh, that's James Brown. That's a James Brown expression. You got to get up to get down. And James Brown, one of his nicknames was the Godfather of Soul. So I tell people that my rule of life is you got to get up to get down, and I learned that from my godfather. Which doesn't make any sense to people that don't know that I'm referring to James Brown, right? They just think I'm being weird. But every now and then you get those old guys and old gals that go, what's that?
You can use this one every time you have this feeling. It says, "Qué oso." What a bear. And this one means, how embarrassing. I like to disappear now.
What a blessing. It's only 2 words. maybe you should start putting these you know these little snippets of things in your work,
Oh, that's a good idea.
and then somebody, like, you finish the composition that you're working on, you finish the drawing of the dog, and like Run, where I had the words in behind the people, you put Keoso.
Because, it's very curious because somebody yesterday during my early stream, some of the girls who were there, some of the ladies said, "Why don't you stream in Spanish? I would like to practice our Spanish." And I was like, let me think about it. So
Well,
it could be.
sure, why not? And I mean, there's it's not like there's not plenty of Spanish people throughout the world, but I don't know. That's an interesting statement. I mean, if you really well, there's a thing that you can do with YouTube now, where you can have it broadcast in different languages.
This one is good. You're going to like this one.
Okay.
Se me fue el avión.
Okay.
The plane left me.
The plane left me?
It means my brain fully checked out. I completely missed this.
Well, that's got to be a recent one if it's including a plane.
Well, yeah, I suppose these idioms are decades old. But
so, an expression that I've known through my life is sometimes you have to grab the bull by the horn.
Okay.
Okay, and that means sometimes you have no choice but to wrestle. You got to wrestle with the situation, right? Grab the bull by the horn.
We
But
have the same expression in Spanish.
but it was very clearly based on Spanish culture, because there are no bulls up here other than with cattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But that expression has always been an interesting one, when you stop for a second and just take this, this euphemistic phrase somebody says, and then you visualize it and you try to picture somebody, and immediately somebody might picture some really big muscular person trying to wrestle with a bull by grabbing its horns. But I always think it's funnier that, you say that to your Aunt Matilda, who's 5'2" and 98 pounds. Well, I guess you're going to have to grab the bull by the horns, Aunt Matilda. And then you visualize Aunt Matilda wrestling a bull to the ground. Takes on a whole different thing. All right. Well, I think I need to wrap up because I've got a couple of things I got to do. But this has been brilliantly fun. And it's been, look at that. That's fantastic. You can see how it's developed.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I like cooking.
You do this well.
Has more pastel pencils.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of neat. It's kind of cool when you apply the surface, the base color, and then you develop all of this complexity to it as you go along. It's really nice. Okay, well, thank you for coming and joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, always. You're always welcome. And I hope people have had a good day. And I'll be back tomorrow at noon for more exciting fun. I have no idea. But thanks very much for Chris. Anybody that might have watched today's stream that isn't familiar with Chris's work or isn't familiar with all the wonderful things that you create, Chris, where can they find you?
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Are you looking it up?
Not really.
Put it in a comment.
Sharing. Oh my God, I don't know. I got a message, but I want to reply that one later. But I'm going to put my Instagram.
Excellent. There we go. That's perfect. Yeah, so please, people, go and take a look at what Chris is doing. And also go take a look at anybody that's in the chat and engaged in our conversation. Linda and Liz, and I think Susanna was here for a minute, and see what people are creating. Robert Dome was here, Inc. Yeah, take a look at what they're working on. That the one of the easiest ways for us to learn different approaches to things and to try different things out ourselves is by taking the time to peruse what others that we know are doing, and learning from one another.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at noon. Bye for now, folks.
Bye.